Hello, Starly.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for coming in today.
My pleasure.
We just got done doing our headshots. We just did the headshots part. So, my makeup artist, Kelly, was in here the other day and was like, yo, you need to hit up my friend. You guys knew each other
Middle school. We went to middle
from
school
middle school.
together.
Okay. And she goes, she's doing this thing. She's open, super cool to talk to. I think you guys would make it great. So I reached out to you after taking a look at your page. Do me a favor and let
Okay.
the people know who you are, what you do, and where you're doing it, and then we'll peel back the onion.
Okay. I'm Starly, born and raised in Fort Lauderdale, huge traveler. And earlier this year, I decided to try to go on a date with a local guy in every country around the world.
How many countries are there?
Debated, but around 200, a little less. There's border disputes and all that. We're not getting into that. Around 200.
So you're gonna date 200 people
Yes, in theory.
in theory. What number are you at currently?
Like 15.
You're at 15. How are you documenting this particular experience?
I just go on the dates and I try to keep it really natural. It's not like I'm filming the whole thing or whatever. I think it's similar to any girl who's like just out with their friends, like taking little clips of things, and then I compile it all together after. Every so often, if the date is comfortable with it, I'll bring my tripod and I'll film like 30 seconds of us actually together because people like to see that, but nothing crazy.
What date number are you on currently?
I should actually know the count. I think 15.
Okay. And out of those 15 so far, what has been your general experience?
Most of them have been really good, and I've met really cool and interesting people, which is was my motivation behind this. I've had a couple disasters, but that's just dating. Some go great and some go horribly.
What's been the most impressive date so far?
I think the most impressive date was there's 2. So one was in Colombia, and he took me to dinner the night before, and then the next day we had a boat day, and he rented, like, a boat and a captain, and brought champagne and all this stuff, and we spent the whole day just us 2 on the water.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
How are you meeting these people? Are you doing dating apps? Does it happen randomly?
Yeah, it depends. So, I've been traveling for 5 years before this.
Oh,
Yeah, I've been
how?
nomadic for 5 years since graduating college.
Okay.
So I was already traveling, and in some of these places, I would go on dates, obviously. I think the only difference is now I'm documenting it, and now I have a systematic thing of, like, I wanna go to every country and whatever. But because I've traveled, like, already, I know people all over the world. So a lot of them have been through mutual friends who wanna set me up with someone. If I don't know anyone in that country, then I'll hop on the dating apps as the last resort.
Okay.
And more recently, now that I have a bit more of a following, I added a date app to my like, an application to my Instagram,
Nice.
and it all goes into a spreadsheet, and I can sort it by country, and it asks, like, "What do you have in mind for our date? Tell me a little bit more about you." And that way I don't have to, like, explain to a stranger, like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing." Like, they already know exactly what's up.
Then
So that's my preferred
that
method.
seems complicated and not because of the structure.
Yeah, exactly. It isn't at
Yeah.
all. It's less complicated than like swiping or having to reach out to people and be like, this is what I'm doing. Cause it is weird. It's unique, let's say.
It's unique. Yeah.
So
Which
if
is
they are
weird.
already on my Instagram, they know exactly what I'm doing. They already want to do it. And again, it asks a little bit about them. I ask for their Instagram profile so I can suss them out as well. So I feel like it's better than just like showing up and meeting someone or dating.
What are their qualifications? What do they need to qualify?
There's that I'm specifically looking for, but the application, I think I'll check out their Instagram because I think you can tell a lot from a photo. That's your business. You should
Yes.
know.
A thousand
um,
percent agree.
but more than that, so I think there's a couple questions. It's tell me a little bit about yourself. So depending on what they say there, I think is really telling because it shows what's important to them, which is why I left it open-ended. So if they're like, "Oh, I'm 6'2" and I work out, whatever," I'm like, "Great, I don't care." But if they start saying things of substance, then I'm already like, "Oh, okay, like, these are the things
Can you
that I
give me an
wanna know."
example of substance?
Yeah, there's some people that get more in depth. They tell me, like, about their family, for example, or things that they're passionate about, or yeah, just a little more meaningful than just, "This is my appearance, and this is what I do for work," for example. And then it also says, "What do you have in mind for our date?" And so some could be like, "Oh, nice dinner." Boring. And then there's some that will type out, like, long things and this big excursion or whatever, and it doesn't really matter, but it's more just like the effort and the thought behind the date.
Could you read one off for me?
Pull it up, but I
Hell
can
yeah,
think
take
I
your
still
time.
have my Google Drive attached here.
So I watch the internet.
Yeah.
I'm always
Nice.
watching, I want to say, guys dating in other countries and
Okay.
listening to them. So there's passport bros right now. So it sounds like you're like a passport
What's Passport Bros? You have
bro.
to film it. I don't know what that is.
Passport bros are gentlemen in the United States who no longer like the, I want to say maybe the lack of the modern woman. They don't like the
Okay.
modern woman in the United States
Fair enough.
because they don't seem to have, and I'm probably butchering this, but
That's okay.
they don't seem to have the qualities that they are looking for that would be traditional. And so they're going to countries like Colombia, they're going to countries like Thailand,
R
Philippines, any place that probably just isn't as modernized.
Yeah.
And so just inherently because of that, you're going to find people that are more traditional.
I'm doing something similar for similar reasons. I think the West has, I don't know, skewed kind of modern dating and relationships and almost demonized a lot of like traditional ideas that I don't really find a problem
What
with.
qualities are you looking for? I guess specifically, what is your ideal, or are you
Yeah.
doing this even to really
Find
find
someone.
someone, or
Yeah.
is it literally just the experience of, there's a book called It's Just Dinner, which is a great book for women to read,
Okay.
which basically says, like, just start saying yes because you never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah.
And just because you went to dinner doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do
Anything
anything,
else.
you
Yeah, I
know?
like that. It's a little bit of both. If I do find someone, I'll be super excited.
Mm.
But if I don't, it's not like I'll be like, wow, this was a waste because I still will have traveled to incredible places and met really cool people and probably opened my mind to a lot of different perspectives. And then going back to the first question, just about dating or what I'm looking for, I maybe it's because I'm also first generation, like my parents are Dominican,
Oh,
and I was raised with this idea of, I don't know, a mother being, like, nurturing, like, I actually like, cooking for my man and for my family, like, I don't think that is a bad thing or that makes me less respected or whatever, so I think a lot of these ideas, yeah, have been demonized to seem like a negative or, like, raising children, that is, like, the greatest, like, pleasure and joy and responsibility in this whole world, and it seems to be, like, looked down upon. I'm like, "Who said that?" I don't know. So I feel for them. I understand the passport bros. And then on the flip side, just from a woman's perspective, I feel like dating in the West has also gotten like really casual. I am really traditional. Like I've never had a one night stand. I don't even really drink alcohol either. So I don't go for drinks, things like that. And I think these are like more typical here and less typical in other places. So that's probably why I resonate. So I think similar ideas with the passport bros, maybe differences, but I think we come from the same general
what would a good name for that be if it's female? What's a, instead of bros,
passport.
right? Yeah.
I mean, I guess you'd say like sisters, I guess, bros, sisters, but I don't know. It doesn't have as good of a ring.
Yeah. Yeah, because
And also, is it multiple guys? I don't know about the
it's, yeah, so many. It was just meaning, what do you mean multiple guys?
you because you said passport bros. It's like a group of
So it's the term
oh, it's just
deemed,
in general. It's not
yeah,
like an
it's a general,
account called
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Passport Bros or
Yeah, it's a
whatever.
generalization
Gotcha,
of
gotcha.
the type of Westerner who's basically an expat. So the whole expat thing really pushed it off because people started going to other places,
Yeah,
COVID, etc. But the main reason behind the passport bros is go find yourself a traditional woman. If you can't find it where you're at,
go
go
somewhere
someplace
else.
that you
Yeah,
can find it and bring
yeah,
her home,
yeah.
which also I'd probably advise not to do
Gotcha.
because they'll turn westernized.
I just do want to have a little disclaimer. I feel like the passport bro idea, I might not necessarily resonate with some of these passport bros and have my own reason, but I think it's the same general principle of
Yeah,
dating and love life in the West has turned into something that is maybe not what some people desire, and that's
not
fine.
ideal for your ideals or
Exactly.
values.
Exactly. Not ideal for our ideals, even though they might be different ideals to different people.
Are you college educated?
Yes.
Where'd you go to college?
Columbia, New York City.
Columbia, New York City. What'd you get your degree in?
Psychology and business.
Ooh. Psychology and so are you a
Yeah.
doctor? Wait, no, wait. Does that make you a doctor?
No. So I didn't do my PhD. I just did my undergrad in psychology and I did like social and behavioral psychology. So not clinical psychology, not crazy people, not like a therapist that you'd go to, literally just the way people interact in the world and why. So mostly just how the brain works and the reasons behind it. And then a minor in business because I like business.
Do you practice? Is this your full-time job?
Yeah.
Yes?
Okay, so yes, it was my full-time job. To get the money thing aside, I am like a crypto trader,
Hell yeah.
investor, whatever. However, I do not want to be associated with the crypto bros. Same thing. It's a generalization, but I feel like they give us a bad look kind of thing.
Some don'ts. Are you into Cardano?
Not much, I'll be honest.
Man, I want
But I'm
to
not
change your mind.
against it. I'm not against it either. But the reason why I say this is because I don't want to go down the crypto rabbit hole. I don't really want to have discussions about it because
Oh,
different people have different opinions.
for sure.
And I feel like there's other things I'd rather talk about. But about my full-time job. So that's how I finance my travels. Had another one where I was like a secret evaluator of like luxury hotels and restaurants.
Oh,
And that's how I started traveling. So when I graduated college, I basically got paid to go to the Four Seasons, the St. Regis, all this stuff all around the world. It doesn't pay well, but I was like, okay, before I have
crap.
liabilities or whatever, right out of college, I have nothing else. It's a free experience at like really nice places. So that's how I got started with this whole thing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still doing that?
It's freelance. I would say no,
Okay.
but I can hop on anytime and check what opportunities are available. But the interesting thing was I could bring a guest, right? And so usually I would bring a friend or my sister or
Oh,
whatever, or my boyfriend if I had one at the time. But then there was some places where like my friends just couldn't travel or couldn't meet me. So one of those was Vietnam, for example. And I had to do all these things. You have to eat at the restaurant and like all this stuff that just feels weird alone. And so I hopped on Bumble and I matched with this guy and we really hit it off. And I would say that was my first like dating from another country like experience. And then a couple more of these as time went on. So I think that kind of segued me into what I'm doing now. For example, it's a little weird for me. But so one of the deeper ones, I'm an adventurous soul with a passion for exploring new places and trying new experiences. When I'm not out seeking new adventures, I enjoy immersing myself in the world of books and lose track of time in captivating stories. I find solace in nature and love spending time outdoors, whether it's hiking, stargazing, or simply enjoying a peaceful walk. I believe in the power of laughter and cherish moments filled with joy and genuine connection. That is a bit on the meaningful side.
okay.
And as an example of the flip side, all right, here's another one. Different guy. What do you have in mind for our date? Dinner. All right,
Boring.
I'm bored. And then another guy describing himself 26-year-old traveler, just an ordinary man. So it's like you can tell which kind of guy I'd rather go for and whatnot. And yeah, honestly, I have a ton. I don't want to get too
Of the language barriers.
it issue so far. So I think I did 7 countries in Latin America and I speak Spanish. So there was a bit of Spanglish going on, but for the most part, they spoke English. And then in Asia, all my dates spoke English. Again, little funny moments of maybe they can't remember a word or trying to think of it, but no major like communication issues.
Okay.
Oh, my favorite date
Sure.
that I said, a second date. So this was in India, and the first date was he actually been trying to get me on a date, and I chose someone else for India. And then he just was persistent. And then he's like, hey, it's my 30th birthday. I rented a yacht with my friends at like sunset. If you want to come, it should be fun. If not, no worries. And my friend who I was visiting in India had other plans that night that I didn't want to go to. So I was like, okay, perfect. Like, I'll go to this. The whole point of this is trying new things, meeting new people. Let me really put myself out there. And it was just really fun, really chill. We obviously weren't together the whole night because he had tons of friends around, but it was a nice balance. We got to know each other. And I think the fact that he was around all of his close friends and like in that energy gave him the advantage over if we just had a one-on-one date and it was
Mm.
us like talking. I saw him totally in his element, having a good time with all these people that love him and care for him. And I think that probably is what made me see him in a stronger light than my other dates.
Did he make it to round 2?
Yeah, so then the next day, we actually did a date, and so on the yacht, I learned that he loved Harry Potter,
Ooh.
and I love Harry Potter, and so I challenged him to a little trivia night, and I'm like, "Oh, I got this," right? He destroyed me. So the next day we met up, we did a little walk along the water at sunset, and then we did little Harry Potter trivia. He listens to the audiobooks to fall asleep every single night, plays the video game like all the movies and tore me to shreds, essentially.
To what level then are you? And which house do you reside?
Salty about this. So on Pottermore, I got Hufflepuff, which like anybody who knows me would rank that dead last. I'll
Okay.
even rather be a Slytherin, even though I don't think I'm evil, but it's fine.
You don't have to be evil to be Slytherin.
Okay, strategic. But yeah, so I got Hufflepuff. I feel like I resonate a little more with either Gryffindor or Ravenclaw. What about you, Potter
Okay.
fan?
Yes, but
Okay.
not extreme in any way.
Okay.
But if anything, I'd like to resonate with Slytherin. Yeah,
Fair
yeah,
enough.
yeah. For sure. Just because the idea of being able to be Parseltongue or Parseltongue, or
Yeah.
however it's said,
Talk to
yeah, I would
snakes.
love to
You're a
talk to
snake.
snakes.
I
It
see
would be
you.
super dope.
The
And which do you prefer, the books or do you prefer the movies?
books, easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first book that actually got me to start reading.
Okay.
Yeah, so before Harry Potter came out, I did
You
not
weren't a reader.
read it
Yeah.
all, and then I got into it and then couldn't stop. And I was already like way behind, so I think it came out and I got in when The Prisoner of Azkaban
Okay.
started.
Yeah.
And so I just started the first book when that one came out, and so I
Okay.
had the opportunity to be
To
able to
read
kind of
them
get
all.
into it and then
Yeah.
get really excited, and
Yeah.
that book changed my life. Now I read every day. It's
Love
great.
that. Reading is great.
Oh yeah. What do you read when you're not reading fiction?
Oh,
Or wait, no, scratch that. What do you read when you're not reading Harry Potter?
yeah, when I'm reading Harry Potter. Like phases where I read a lot and then not at all. So like during COVID, I really got into like quantum physics books.
Okay.
But I think I was just also having an existential crisis and wanted to understand more about the universe and all that. And then I think that just overloaded my brain. And so I haven't read that many like full books since then. But more recently, I've gone towards nonfiction. I'm just really curious about like real life things more so than fiction and stories right now. I read a really interesting one. I can't remember what it's called, but it was basically about the nature of perception and how different animals perceive the world differently and how we can internalize that to just see the world in a totally different way.
Do you know? Is
No,
it?
I can't remember for the
Oh.
life of me. I can search for it and send it to you after. But
Uh, do you, when traveling, is that the time that you pick up your books the most?
I think I used to.
Okay.
And I would always have my Kindle and I would read. And more recently, I've gotten into like meditation and just like exploring my own psyche. And so now, even on flights and stuff, you're like, what do you do? Because I don't download like movies or TV, no podcasts. I'm like, just me and my thoughts. And it seems like this like radical concept because this day and age, people can't sit without any sort of stimuli
Entertainment, yeah.
with just their thoughts. And I'm like, you'd be surprised what's in there if you just give it the time to flow. Let it flow.
Take it in and be, what's the word? Present.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you traveling to next?
I have no idea. And this is what I was leading up to. I recently got a deal with a production company in Hollywood to produce an actual show
Oh, cool.
and have a film crew follow me and have it like edited and all that.
Hell yeah.
So I've been chilling in Florida for about a month. They asked me to pause my travels while we work out all the details.
Okay.
They
Are you
also,
allowed to be talking about this now?
yeah, I think
Okay.
I am. That's what my email was. I was closing on the deal.
Oh, okay.
Which has been like such a long time coming that I'm like, I really just want to start traveling again. Yeah.
I want to go on a
I
date.
just, you know, not even like just go to the Florida. I'm like, first of all, no. Second of
What?
all,
Why? Why?
no, I'm making it up.
Oh,
My diatribe against Florida men. Oh,
you're from here, so
Yeah.
that plays into it a little
Right.
bit. But I feel like maybe we could let people know why Florida is not maybe the best for you. Not for everybody.
have real reasons. I think it is partially that hometown association. Oh, our fly is back. Our
Yep,
little
our
friend
fly
is back.
is back. That's what
But
happens when you eat meat. Seriously.
it's more so that the travel is what actually excites me.
Okay.
And then I go on the date to get a better lens of that country. I think you get a really different and more intimate perception or perspective of the place that you're in when you're shown by a local. But if it's a tour guide or someone you're hiring, like there's still that like divide. Whereas if it's a date, it just feels more intimate and more real.
Okay.
It looks like you want to fight me on this one.
Well, because I feel like, and I'm saying this not having ever done it. It's
Mm.
like I feel like
I was about to say, I have the one up on you,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
yeah, I'm just in dates in general, or even like trying to be present.
Yeah.
I'd be focused on you more so than I think, and this is maybe telling of me,
The
but like I'd
culture.
be more focused on you than I would be unless my date is to be showing you around, which I guess
That
is
typically is part of it, and
okay.
even if you are focused on me, obviously we get to know each other or whatever, but I also ask questions about the culture, and I think the date anyone wants to, like, be in their element, and I'm just asking about the place they grew up, and so it's easy for them, and it just leads to a really natural it's not, "What do you do for work?" or "What are your hobbies?" or whatever, it's just, "Wow, my mom has made this dish every holiday since I was born," or whatever. I think it also segues into a little bit more of a personal conversation as well. And they're excited to share usually.
How often you've been on 15 dates? How often have you had to repeat essentially like grandfather's day? No, Groundhog's Day. How often have the dates almost been
Like, bit
similar,
repetitive.
or
Yeah.
are they all the same? Are they all the same, or are they all very different? And
They've
maybe that's
all been really vastly different, and that's the thing is, like, the person is different, and, like, everything about them is different, like, their mannerisms, their language, the way they see the world, like, what they're telling me, the way they share their culture. Some don't care at all, and some are so excited to tell me all these things. So, I feel like it's a little repetitive in terms of just, like, explaining myself, but from that, all been really different and, like, really cool, really insightful.
are you allowed to drop the favorite so far, or
Yeah, Mr. Bombay was my favorite date
oh,
as a person, and
as a
then
human? Danger
yeah.
while traveling as a single female. You don't feel any danger? Do you feel like currently with what's going on in the world, it sounds like it's very dangerous to be a female. I don't
Yeah.
think about this all the time, but I have a very tiny girlfriend who reminds me that the world is not the same for me as it is for her. So,
Yeah, spicy take on this one. And I think it stems from this idea of victimizing women in general,
okay.
because subconsciously, what that is saying, when anytime you say for a woman or kind of specify that, is that, I don't know, we're more susceptible to danger.
Yes.
And maybe I was just raised to be like really tough. But I just don't feel like I do anything differently as a woman than a man would. And also, if you look at like crime statistics and things, men are like more likely to be victims of crimes than women. And I guess it's the physicality
I
part that
think,
we can be overpowered.
right.
But I don't know. I hope I don't get humbled, knock on wood. But
I'll knock on it for you.
but I think everyone should take the same precautions, regardless if you're a man or woman. And the other thing is, in a lot of other countries, men are way more likely to be victims of crimes than women.
That's
And it's a funny thing, not funny, but I think counterintuitive because everyone thinks, oh, the women and whatever. But like in a lot of more patriarchal societies, even women are not perceived to be like respected or whatever. They belong in the home or whatever, all that stuff. A lot of these cultures, because they were raised by like strict mothers, wouldn't harm a woman in
right.
that way.
Okay.
Like, I've seen where, like, guys, like, because I've been to Dominican Republic, I grew up there, my dad grew up in a bad neighborhood. They're these tough guys, and maybe they, like, kill people or beat people up, but they wouldn't do it to a woman.
Okay.
Do you get
So
what I'm
yeah,
trying to
women
say
and
with
children
that?
are off the
Yeah, exactly, like, women it's like, you could be, like, a drug kingpin, and you could be murdering people, taking people out left and right, but women and children are off limits, and I feel like there's that in Southeast Asia as well. And again, not everyone, of course, there's horrible things that happen to women and children as well, but you get what
yes.
I'm trying to say?
Not being a woman, I don't think I'll ever understand entirely, but the
Yeah,
idea that sex trafficking does go on,
yeah,
it just makes me I just don't I guess, like, I've traveled,
right,
again, as a dude. I walk around, I'm 6'5",
yeah,
and most people
yeah.
don't challenge me because I'm so
I
tall.
think I walk around with that energy, and I spent 4 years in New York City where I had to put that on. I have all my wits about me. I'm very assertive if someone's, like, bothering me, and I don't wear that, like, chip on my shoulder, "Oh my gosh, I'm a scared woman," or whatever, because I feel like if anything, that might attract
Yeah.
more
Yeah, yeah, that'll
danger
definitely
your
attract
way, and
yeah.
so I don't take that on in my identity, and maybe that helps because I'm just like, "No."
Hell yeah. Okay. Alright. You don't know where you're going to next.
Yeah, I
That
wish I had more
sucks.
to tell you.
Yeah, I was like
So basically, because I'll get into it. So with the production company, I'm not doing every country in the world. I'm doing 100 countries.
Okay.
And I guess when you're filming something, you also have to talk to the film commissions in each country and get special permissions. You work with the tourism boards. So they're picking the first locations based on that, who's the most cooperative, places they've worked with before because like they've filmed other shows and all that. And I will say they already know. I don't know because again, we were waiting for the deal to close before I can be in the know. So I should find out by next week.
Are you allowed to say what channel? They're picking it up to sell it to a channel.
Exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
wow.
So it's
Okay.
totally experimental, it's developmental. We're gonna film the first 4 episodes, 4 countries, 8 episodes, and see how it goes, and then based on that, they will have meetings with distributors and stuff. They've already said they don't want it to be a traditional, like, network TV show. It wants to be digital. So,
Okay.
streamers, things
Yeah.
like that, but we don't know where.
I can't convince you to go out on a date with somebody here in Florida,
Probably not, honestly.
and we're not allowed to talk about the red flags of Florida.
No, we can talk about that. We can
Okay.
talk
So
about that.
what are the big red flags for Florida men? And since you grew up here, I guess
Yeah.
give me like the spectrum.
So this is not about Florida men in general. This is just how I feel and why I left. I feel like Florida is a bit too slow of energy. I appreciate that, right? Because I'm from here. Everyone's just at the beach or chilling or whatever. And I just am a little bit faster paced. And that goes into like the things that I want to do and like my goals in life. And sure, there's a few people in Florida with huge dreams and they're hustling and whatever. But I think that's kind of the exception and not the rule. And so that is my general take. And the flip side, I feel like New York is too fast paced and everyone's way too serious and like just trying to achieve things or make money or whatever. So it's just, oh, I hate Florida, whatever. Like, I think I need that happy medium of like someone who has their shit together, but can also relax.
Okay. Not asking for too much.
Yeah, I just moderate.
All right. Next, I was gonna say, man, I was like, if there's a difference between that, and you said it,
Yeah.
yeah. Florida, just a little bit slower paced, and New
Yeah.
York's a little too fast.
Fast.
That was what else?
I thought a lot. I spent 18 years in Florida. I spent 4 years in New York. So I thought a lot about it.
Have you done LA?
I have. That's where I thought that I wanted to be as a happy medium. California in general, but Southern California. All my college roommates were from different parts of California. I really vibe with California. And I think that is where the two meet, where it's people who have educated, have big dreams, want to do big things, but don't want to be miserable in the cold with no space like in New York City. So my idea was to move to LA after I traveled and all of that. I think it just got really weird after COVID, during and after COVID. So I still visit all the time. Some of my best friends live there. I was literally there last month for a week. And if I did, it would probably be like somewhere between LA and San Diego. I don't want to be in a big city, but I want to have access to a big city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you have goals.
Yeah.
What are some of your goals?
Okay. So I have a few, but the precursor to this, an idea that I've had since college, nobody steal this, was I want to plan like a big festival, think like Coachella vibes, but it's themed around the world and it's arranged geographically like the globe. And we have 5 main stages representing each continent, and we have artists from all these places. People can dress to represent like where they're from. And the biggest thing for me, because I'm a huge foodie, is it'll be like one ticket, all inclusive, and we'll have little bites from as many countries as we can get. Just a bite showcasing the food of that region, right? It's like a quintessential bite. In India, it'd be like a samosa, or in Thailand, maybe some pad thai, but you get the idea.
Hell yeah.
And then we'd also, so it'd be like a 3-day thing or whatever. Each day we'd celebrate a different festival that's held around the world. So like the full moon party in Thailand would be Friday night, Chinese New Year on Saturday, like running of the bulls on Sunday or whatever. You get the idea.
Yeah, hell yeah. Do you have a favorite food to cook?
Not really, but in every country that I visit, I try to do a cooking class.
Okay.
So I really do love learning about culture through food. I've done one in Mexico, in India, in Vietnam, in Thailand. I think I just love learning through food because it's so sensory and delicious, but it also does show the culture a lot more than people think. What grows there, what they had 100 years ago, why they cook the way that they do, the tools that they use, why their diet has to be a specific way. And it's all done with love. I feel like that's the
The
most
best
loving
food is?
thing, yeah.
Mm,
It has, like, heart and soul, so
just dreaming about arepas.
yeah, facts.
Mm.
Love
Do you have
arepas.
a favorite food that you like to consume?
This is so lame, but I love sandwiches. I feel like a sandwich is a perfect
Like a pita
food.
press?
I don't discriminate. I
Okay.
feel like every culture, even in and of itself, has some sort of sandwich, some version of it. I just feel if you have carbs on either side and then you have meat and veggies, maybe some dairy in between, you have all your food groups.
Mhm.
It's succinct, it's easy to consume, it can be portable if you need it to be. Like, I have no qualms with a good sandwich.
The one thing that I found while traveling to be
Mhm.
the most difficult has been laundry.
Okay.
When traveling, what seems to be the most difficult thing for you?
I think sometimes it is finding food, especially when you're in a country where, like, it's totally different. You're not really sure what the ingredients are. You can't read the menu. I tend to use, like, picture-based menus in those
Okay.
scenarios, but sometimes I have to say, "Please, not spicy," or whatever. You kinda have to read the room.
You can't do spicy?
I cannot do spicy.
That's so wild.
My
You're
spice
Hispanic.
tolerance is horrible. Yeah, that's the misconception. Mexico is really the only
Spicy place?
Latin culture that emphasizes spice as in heat.
Okay.
And then a lot of other places, like, they use herbs and stuff, they use seasoning more than, like, white people, but it's not really, like, chili. Like, so for example, Dominican Republic, none of the food there is spicy.
What is a Dominican Republic food?
Meal.
Yeah.
So typical with, like, other Latin American countries, but it's called plato criollo, and it's rice, beans, some sort of meat, and then, like, plantains or, like, a salad or something like that.
Sounds Cuban.
Similar, like I said,
Okay.
same
Yeah. Same
region.
region.
Yeah, close enough, but not spicy.
Okay.
Full of flavor, but not hot.
Now I'm hungry.
One
Um,
thing I learned, though, is a lot of regions with spicy food is because it was used to preserve the food. So typically you'll see spice and heat in more inland areas and dry areas who, like, historically didn't have access to, if you're by the ocean, yeah, or whatever, for example, you can have fresh fish or whatever. Whereas if you're in the middle of nowhere with no water access, you're preserving the food.
funny, I actually thought it was to get rid of parasites.
That's also part of it.
Oh,
But
okay.
the I'm saying is, like, to preserve it without it doing damage to you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Fun little factoid.
I just learned that because
Hell
I
yeah.
because I was like, "What? There's gotta be a reason." It's a fun thing I've learned. There's always a reason that is really logical to something.
When you travel, do you find you have problems? You're American? Do you have anybody that hates on you because you're American?
Recently, no, but I backpacked Europe during the 2016 election, and everyone just wanted to talk about Donald Trump, and I was like, "This is not what I'm here for. Please just can it."
Do you guys want to talk about food?
And none of it was nice either, and I was like, "I'm just trying to explore Europe, not be in the US right now."
Talk about
Yeah, exactly. I was like, "Is that really all you have to say?"
where in Europe did you travel to?
We did a lot. It was me and my sister.
How many are in your family?
It's me, my sister, and my brother.
Okay. And
Yeah,
so you went with your sister?
yeah.
And where'd you guys go?
We did London, Morocco, Paris, Cannes, Amsterdam, Hungary, Czech Republic, and I
And you
think
backpacked? So that means you
yeah, we
walked it?
backpacked.
Essentially?
No, 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 no.
What does that
Trains
mean?
and flights, it's just
Okay.
that, like, we only have backpacks, no,
That's it.
like, luggage or whatever, and hostel it or whatever. This was, like, I don't know, 8 years ago now?
Fuck.
We were, like, 19.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it was fun. I recommend it to a lot of people.
I'm gonna eat something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Be right back. 2 seconds. I'm not going far.
No worries. Oh, what are
Cream
you
cheese.
eating? Oh, cream cheese. Nice.
Delicious.
All your sustenance packed into there.
Mm. It's got all the essential things I need.
To each their own.
Well,
Have you ever had one of these? That's a
what is
lot
it?
of called a perfect bar. It's just a power bar, but if you like peanut butter, it's literally just the physical form of, like, peanut butter, solid form of peanut butter. But it has a bunch of superfoods and stuff added to
I don't want to mess with your food.
it.
Just, I
You're
have
good with your cream
recently
cheese.
only started, for the most part, only eating meat. That's it. That's all I eat. And
No
so,
veggies.
no
No
vegetables.
fruit.
I do eat fruit,
Okay.
but if it's processed, I'm fucking this up. But for the most part, I cut almost everything out because I got into Dr. Jordan Peterson.
Okay.
Do you know who that is? Hell yeah. Do you like him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then his daughter,
Okay.
Michaela Peterson, and she had autoimmune disease problems. He had underlying gum disease. When he
Okay.
switched to the all meat diet and all of his
Went
problems went
away.
away. So did his. He was on antidepressants.
Oh, wow.
That all went away. His joint problems, her arthritis completely went away. So I was like,
Okay.
let me get into it. And then I watched people who've been doing it for 5 years, and
Yeah.
I've noticed wonderful results for myself.
Great.
And
Yeah.
it's been amazing, except every once in a while I fuck it
That's fine.
up.
Cheat day.
Oof.
No, I find the same with I do like juice cleanses. I'll do 10-day juice cleanses, especially when I'm in the US, because the food here, I think, is what is like messing up a lot of people's
It's killing
health.
them.
I don't even think totally respect your choices, but I don't think it's in the veggies or in the fruit or whatever in and of itself. It's like chemicals and all this stuff. So I find the same when I just do like juice cleanses, and sometimes I'll just have a salad at night, but like fasting, just not having anything in my system, I feel like clearer, I have more energy. I had, yeah, some mental health issues that like totally went away, and I just like brain fog, things like that are gone.
Completely gone.
Yeah.
I have the same thing.
Let's go.
I want to pull up your Instagram real quick.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask you about. Oh, nope, that's a thirst trap. Get out of there. Where did you go?
I have another thirst trap in my drafts.
Wait, what?
I have another thirst trap in my drafts.
What does that mean?
Like a thirst trap, like photo. It's like a sexy photo, and it's in my Instagram drafts.
You have a sexy photo of you.
Correct.
There's a sexy.
It's just me in a bathing suit. It's a thirst trap.
It's a thirst trap. I think thirst traps are a little bit more. I haven't seen this photo. Let me see this photo. Let me tell you whether or not this photo is a thirst trap.
Wait, no, I will show it to you, but I want to hear what you think a thirst trap is first.
Let's do this. You show me, and I'll say yes or no.
No, I need to hear your take. Show you either way.
It's thirsty. A thirsty thirst trap is like just straight out.
Okay.
That's a thirst trap.
As
If it's you in a
explicit.
bikini, it's the
Right.
explicitness that I
Yeah.
think makes it the thirst trap, which is
See, I don't think that's what it is. In the name, thirst trap, you're trying to trap someone who's thirsty.
correct.
I think as long as you have an intention of trapping said individual with thirst, then it's a thirst trap. It doesn't have to be straight ass.
Okay.
So
Heard.
I think it's with if you're posting it with the intention, you look bomb, and there's maybe one or a couple people that whose attention you'd like to attract with it.
Heard that.
Heard that. Okay.
I'll agree.
Can I show you my
Yes,
thirst
I want to
trap?
see
And
your
you
thirst
tell
trap.
me. And there is one or two people who I have in mind.
Is this in Bali?
Oh.
Because I've shot there.
Uh-huh.
That place has a pool in front of it, doesn't it?
Yes, I will say a lot of the villas in Bali look very similar
Okay.
because they're all built by the same people, but
I'm going to show you a photo that I
okay.
took in
Okay.
the exact same spot. Hold on 1 second. Oh, pull this up.
Thirst trap, yes or no?
Thirst trap, yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes. And
Should we show the audience?
no,
No, I'll save
If you
it.
send it to me, I'll post it in the.
Okay, but only after I post it. But I plan to post it soon.
Whenever
Okay.
you're ready. So you're going to show that to the world, or you're going to send
Yeah.
that to a particular?
Posting on my Instagram.
Okay. This
Yeah.
is for trapping.
Right, it's for trapping. We're setting the trap, and we're hoping that we trap
Yes, you're going to
some
hope
individuals.
to find the individual. Okay. So this is the helicopter. Okay. That's.
Okay.
Did you ride that helicopter?
No, that is an old World War II helicopter. Or no, Vietnam War helicopter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fuck. All right. I'm just going to read these off real quick.
Okay.
Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines 1 and 2, Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, Bombay, Thailand, India. Bombay is
Yeah.
Okay.
I told you I already had my date, and so he's Mr. Bombay.
Colombia, Argentina, Chile, Uruguay,
That's it.
and that's it.
Correct.
Okay. So normally when I would look at a page, I go through and I go, oh, if I just see a girl, no boys, traveling all over the world, I think sugar daddies or
Okay.
dating.
Fair enough.
Why? I thought it was so interesting. I was like, ready to hit you with it. I was like,
Yeah.
how are you doing this?
Okay.
And then you were like, oh no, I do like travel concierge
Yeah.
type stuff. I
Yeah.
was like, that was the best fucking
We're breaking all the stigmas
Yeah.
today. No sugar daddy. I kind of wish, but no sugar daddy.
Damn.
Fully funded, girl boss energy. I'm really good with my finances and all of that. I study business and psychology.
And
So
I can't ask you about how you got into the crypto. How did you get it?
I just don't want to debate different currencies or opinions on certain things or
Oh,
whatever.
I
Like I don't want to
definitely
like
don't want to do that.
deep dive into all that because I don't feel that strongly about it. It
Okay.
was just an interesting industry. I do think it's the future, but I don't have any alliances. Like my brother's a
I don't.
diehard Bitcoiner, and
Okay.
I'm like, great, I'm not going to debate this with you. Everyone's entitled to their own thing.
Yeah.
So in 2017, I always every morning I read business and investing newsletters because I've
Okay.
been investing since I was like 18. I had a really good economics professor in high school, and then I went into college studying economics. And so so every morning I read like finance newsletters or whatever, and then I would hear more and more about crypto. And at first, oh, my brother, by the way, he's 7 years older than I am, total computer nerd, grew up in his room, holed away for hours at a time, like built a computer from scratch, all this stuff. So when I was like, had to have been like 13 or 14, started talking about Bitcoin. And I'm like, I have no idea what this is, nor do I care. I'm little. I don't even have like real dollars, let alone like crypto. He was so excited about it. That's when it was worth like nothing.
Yep.
He like bought like a computer with it or whatever. It was not like hoarded. No one was saving it. No one saw it as an asset class. And then again, I was 19. I started hearing more about it. And then finally, in one of my newsletters, it had gone from, I don't know, 2000 to.
I had it. 3, 2, 1. Nope.
You need like a buzzer. You need one of those like zappers.
For
But
sure.
it's fine. We're all friends here. You need to stop eating meat. No, I'm kidding.
Apparently. Stop eating meat.
But I just kept hearing more about it. And so then I reached out to my brother, who'd been like a fan for forever. And then we got lunch. And he explained to me like the ins and outs of blockchain, how it works. I had so many questions. We were there for 3 hours, sent me the white paper. And then I just rabbit holed really hard into it. And again, there's so many more cryptocurrencies now. There was really only like a handful at the time. And just really tried to understand it and its potential and its use cases and all that. And then I pretty much just went all in with all my savings from working since I was like 14 and like saving everything up. I think I was in like stocks and I just pulled it and moved it to crypto.
Hell yeah.
And then I continued every so often add more money into it or whatever when I had some spare change. And for a while it was just like hodl. And then I didn't touch it. And then I would say during COVID, I became more of an active trader. So like day trading, and in that respect, the asset doesn't really matter as long as it's volatile. So it's not
Correct.
like I'm a huge fan of this one or the other. If it moves and we can make money off of it. So I did that for a bit. My friend and I coded a bot to just do it automatically.
Oh, wow.
And like it was working, but there's a few tweaks I want to make to it. But he's the coder. He didn't know anything about like finance and I didn't know anything about code. We came together and then he got like really busy with a full-time job and blah, blah, blah. So it's been shelved for now,
Okay.
but it's just like a quant trading thing that just does it for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I wish. Oh my goodness, I wish.
Hey,
All I do is I dollar cost average in.
Okay.
So
That's responsible.
that's it. Yeah. I can't
Do
sit
anything
there and
else.
pay attention the whole time while I've got to be doing headshots.
Other
but
things. Yeah.
yeah, I've got a bunch of friends that do it, love it.
Yeah.
Some of them are, like you said, diehards, and we'll get into arguments with people. I am not that.
Same.
However,
Yeah.
I am a huge fan of Cardano, and I
Okay.
am always similar to your brother,
Yeah.
trying to help educate people on the positives and the negatives of it. It wasn't a date, but I appreciate you coming through and telling me a little
I
bit
had
about
fun.
yourself. I would love for you to come back again when
I've done
guess
more.
when things set up, because the interesting part is what you're posting, but
Yeah.
you're gonna really get
Yeah.
this is just
A little in
starting
the
up.
middle, and then maybe at the
Yeah,
end.
and
Yeah.
then if you end up back here in the middle, like from a date, cool,
Okay.
set us up.
Yeah.
And then I'll make sure that we have a lot of good food.
Okay.
And then actually, if I could, have you ever done or heard of like ASMR where they do?
Yeah, I think it's really weird. I've never actually sat through and watched.
Have you watched any of the
Oh,
people
never.
like eating food?
I can't stand it. If you're into that,
Oh
there's
my
a couple things wrong with
goodness.
you.
I'm fucked
I
up.
cannot. Yeah, agreed.
I love watching
Agreed.
them
Oh,
just
the
break it.
last thing that I want to do with my time is watch and hear those noises. Could
Oh,
not be
so
me.
cool.
Could not be me.
So cool. I want you to be here and eat them, so you don't have to
Okay,
like
fine. If I'm doing the eating, fine.
yeah, you'll do the eating and then just
Make it really sound.
yeah, so they do like lobster or crab and it's
Okay.
just like breaking.
Yeah.
That's so dope. Although those aren't the sounds that I'm hardcore into, but I do
Okay.
those particular
What are you into?
videos.
What gets you going in this ASMR? I don't
Just
understand it.
The audio is literally like for
But
me.
and like what kind of
Oh no,
audio are we
like
talking? Slurping.
like no. It was a dope though, but I'm into like fingernails on things,
Mm.
soft sounds, things that like
Okay.
I can
More soothing.
I
More
like
soothing.
yeah, I
Okay,
like
okay,
it for
okay.
sleep.
Okay, fair enough.
But I have a client and she does mukbang is what it's called.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
even
it's called.
worse. Yeah.
And so all she does
Just eat.
is just eat
Mhm.
whatever she's today we're doing KFC.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, like I'm here
No,
to
I think
record
I
it.
respect my body a little too much for that.
I heard that. We won't do KFC, but I'll figure
We'll
something
do
out. I'll
just
give you
meat for you.
yeah,
Just
well,
hardcore carnivore.
I'll be eating meat. We'll get you some options and figure
Sandwiches.
oh my
Sandwiches.
goodness, that's so exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna
I
get you a
love
bunch of
sandwiches.
sandwiches with like a French bread, so like oh it's
Ooh,
like
heck yeah. That's true. That's
right?
true.
Hell yeah.
Some softer ones and okay.
Yes, that's the
Deal.
plan. Deal?
Okay, deal.
Deal.
I'll
All
be
right.
here.
I look forward. Is there anything that you wish I had asked you that I didn't bring up?
So I feel like we covered a lot.
Is there anything that you where can people find you?
On Instagram, Starly Santos, StarlySantos. And I have no idea where the show will live, but maybe when I come back, I'll have some more answers for you and have a really fully produced show.
Hell yeah. Do you know the name of the production company?
Yeah, I don't know if I can say that yet.
Copy that. Cool. I tried.
Maybe next time.
If you need any additional people, a lot of my friends are camera people. This is mostly in the Hispanic
Okay.
industry, but
Okay.
they travel around the world. So
Cool.
one of them does Naked and Afraid.
Oh, awesome.
He's the camera operator for that. And then another one, you've heard of the Round Table, like with
Yeah,
Will
yeah.
Smith. They do the Hispanic version
Oh,
for
cool.
I don't know. I don't speak Spanish.
Okay.
But they're
We'll
all the
see.
camera
Things are in the
operators.
works.
So
Yeah.
how long do you think it'll take? You have no idea.
We want to have it done in 2, max 3 years to do all 100 countries. But the good thing is my family lives in Fort Lauderdale. I'm here all the time. Anytime I'm
No, I
back,
mean
I
for the
can like hit
show.
you up. Yeah, no, I'm saying that I'll
Oh,
come
you
in
do-
between or whatever.
Okay.
So max 3 years. We're going to aim to do it in 2. Obviously, there's delays and things and
So
whatever.
for the next 3 years, you're going to be filming?
Correct. We're going to do, so again,
But that sounds like a
All-
multiple series.
so it's just 100 countries and each country is going to have 2 episodes. That's 200 episodes. 100 countries, 2 episodes per country.
2 episodes, 2 dates per country?
No, 2 episodes. So the structure, and I feel like I can say this all now. Basically, they're going to be less than 30 minutes per episode. And again, this might change, right? As we go on, we haven't tried it, but it's going to be the first episode in each country is going to be me arriving, getting to know the place, maybe do a tour, whatever, and then my first date with the guy. And then to create suspense or get people interested. In every country, I'll have a big excursion that they're going to orchestrate. So like in Egypt, it'd be the pyramids, in India, it'd be the Taj Mahal, like whatever. And so the suspense is, do I like my date enough to invite him on the big excursion with me? And if I don't, then I'll either do it alone or do it with a friend or bring back one of my previous dates that I really liked. So that's the drama that we're manufacturing.
You've worked this out quite well for
Well,
yourself.
I did exactly. So now I'm getting paid to travel the world and meet boys. And that's what you get when you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And this just came up on your own? It's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
It was an absolute pleasure to meet you, and
It was lovely to
I'm
meet
looking
you.
forward to seeing you on the television
On the big
or on the
screen.
streaming
Yeah.
sometime soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.